Whilst equality means everyone is treated in the exact same way, regardless of their needs or any other individual difference, equity helps to address historical, societal, or circumstantial factors that may act as a disadvantage so that everyone has what they need to succeed.
Women and girls face a really unique barrier to inclusion. Gender equity is what will enable the full and equal participation of women in the workforce.
Particularly for women, I think it means eliminating the barriers, stereotypes, and limiting social expectations that create unfair and unwanted consequences for women as a result of their gender.
From my perspective, equity is the acknowledgement that each and every one of us has had different lived experiences that have contributed to who we are, our strengths, our development areas, and therefore our needs in the workplace.
I was brought up in a place where gender equality and equity of any kind were nowhere near the forefront of societal aspirations. I owe everything to three incredibly strong and successful women for bringing me up, my two grandmothers and my mother. Now, they had to work incredibly hard to get to where they did. Now, in a just and equal society, they shouldn't have had to. And that is why equity of every kind is important to me.
I have had a challenging but successful career in data management, but as a woman, I'm often one of the few rather than one of the many. A recent TechNation report that looked into diversity in UK tech companies revealed that 77% of tech director roles are filled by men.
Gender equity isn't just a women's issue, and for a stronger, more diverse and inclusive workplace, it's important that all individuals, regardless of their gender, commit to equity as a means to reach equality.
Just look at some of the facts, which in isolation make for difficult reading. Men are often still promoted at 30% higher rates than women during their early career stages. 50% of women in STEM fields still eventually leave the workplace because of hostile work environments.
Being an ally is to pledge support and not sitting on the fence when you come across injustices of any kind. It is also to realize that gender equity isn't a zero-sum game. The benefit of one isn't to the detriment of another. If anything, it is often to the benefit of an organization as a whole.
If gender equity is about fairness, then what we are talking about here is making up for the gap between gender bias and reality. It means overlaying the gender lens across every action, policy, and more. It means asking the questions in each situation of whether a proposed solution can have a detrimental impact to one or more genders. Male allies should be utilising this strategy across all their interactions and projects.
I pledge to continue to embrace equity by encouraging women to push back against society's gender-based expectations of how they should show up in the world, and instead focus on how they choose to show up to reach their goals as the unique individuals that they are.
To encourage all women to be their authentic selves and shine their light for the benefit of themselves and everyone around them.
To promote equal opportunity for all.
I pledge to call out systemic biases at every opportunity, especially in those moments when diversity across all intersectionalities is underrepresented.
I pledge to embrace equity by creating the space to amplify diverse voices at all levels, by leading by example, and by being held accountable to demonstrate inclusive behaviours.
To facilitate an open and honest conversation about the barriers to gender equity, using my voice to challenge predefined norms and drive positive action to rebalance the imbalance.
I will ensure that we are dedicated to the development and promotion of leadership skills to enable a culture within and outside of Baringa that attracts, supports and progresses women at all levels.
I pledge to embrace equity and champion my female colleagues by acknowledging their individual circumstances and identifying their potential, particularly when they haven't yet been given the opportunities to prove themselves.
This year I am pledging to embrace equality by finding my own unconscious bias and helping others to see where they might have unconscious bias. We all have it. It's just about finding where it is and making a change and looking for opportunities in the workplace where I can ensure that we have equal opportunities and responsibilities.
So my pledge is to lobby my local MP and to ask them questions about how Australia's government funding is tracking to improve gender equity across all government funding and also what it's doing across our regions.
Look, it's pretty simple for me. I'm going to keep asking, is there equity? And where there isn't, I'm going to be an advocate for change.
My pledge to gender equity this year is around identifying my own bias, but also calling out the bias in other people and challenging those biases and starting a conversation around what is possible if we were to move beyond the bias and actually opening up the space for other people to feel safe